Adobe recently made some AI changes to Photoshop that, while increasing the cost for some of these tools, opens up the doors for other opportunities for real estate photographers to grow our businesses. So what I want to do in this episode is I want to demonstrate these new tools and how they're used. I want to go through the entire breakdown of what it costs for various generative credits to use these AI features and some of the older AI features. And then I want to show what tools are even worth using and which ones I really don't recommend, and then how you can leverage all of this to your advantage to grow your real estate photography business. These AI changes took effect at the end of October 2025 in Photoshop version 27, which I have open here. Now I'm going to demonstrate these AI features using this image, but let's quickly look at how generative credits have changed for all AI features in Photoshop. As you can see here, I've grouped them into three categories because now there are some that don't require any generative credits, some that require standard credits, which used to just be called generative credits, and now they have these premium credits. You can see that some of this does require now premium credits, so even though you have regular generative credits, you still have to have premium credits, and you get those with a Firefly plan. So on top of your regular Adobe subscription, if you wanted to use these premium credits, some of them I'm going to show aren't really worth it. But if you do want to do that, and some of them are worth it, then you can buy a plan, for instance, for $10 a month. It gives you 2,000 of those premium generative credits, and then the prices go up from there based on how many generative credits you want to have. And once again, these are the premium generative credits. But not everything requires premium credits. There's a lot we can do here just using standard credits, and there's a lot still that we can do without using any credits at all. And this is a great example to show the whole gamut of everything that you'd want to use. So starting with this image here, this was shot for a commercial real estate client that I have, and it started out looking like this as quite a mess. And then I did some item removal and then some staging, some final color. And I'm going to also show you how I blended this person in with some of these new tools. So starting out though, here at the bottom, by the way, this was done using the high-end HDR blending technique that I show in my course on expert editing. And then I also did item removal and then the staging, and that's also shown in that course. And by the way, if you want to see more on my courses for real estate photography, including that editing course, I have links to all of that down in the description for this video. But first, let's take a look at something that costs no generative credits at all, and that's going to be the remove tool. And that's been here for a long time. You're probably very familiar with that. But one of the things you can do now that won't cost you any generative credits at all is to use the generative AI feature. So it used to be that generative AI off, it wouldn't cost any credits, but you would be dinged if you use generative AI on. But now you can just leave generative AI on. The only downside of that is it may take a little bit more processing power, but quite honestly, I just leave it on now all the time because it does a much better job. For instance, to start removing items like I did here, some of this was done with the remove tool, some was done with generative fill. We'll get to that here in a second. But here with doing a simple item removal, let's just remove one item to see how simple this is. And what I'll do is I'll first create a new layer. And that makes it simple so that we can just keep this on a separate layer. So what I'll do is I'll just go up to layer and then call new layer. And you could name it whatever you'd like. On that layer then, with the remove tool selected, we've got generative AI on. We also want to sample all layers and make sure that remove after each stroke is turned off. Makes it a lot easier to work with. Then what you can do is obviously you can adjust the size of that tool, and I'm going to leave it at about this size. Let's try to remove this poster over here. So I'm going to draw around this, and I'll even go down here to the hand sanitizer on the desk. And once I go around that area and I release my mouse, it closed it. It did detect, hey, this is something I want to remove. It's probably going to do a good job. If you don't see it closed, you might want to try again because it's probably not going to do a very good job. Then I'm going to click the checkbox up here, and you can also hit enter on your keyboard. Then it's going to go out and go to the cloud since it's using generative AI. And then when it's done though, it's going to give me just one result, and it'll be on that layer. And you can see didn't do too bad of a job. This is before, this is after. So it did a pretty good job with this, and it's just applied to that one single layer. And we can take this a lot further, but the one thing we have to be aware of is that when using these AI tools, let's use the Firefly engine that's inside of Photoshop, using that with the remove tool, or also using generative fill using the Firefly engine, because we're going to show other engines here in just a second, those are limited to 2000 pixels. When we get into, for instance, Nano Banana, that's only going to be 1000 pixels. So it's a lot tougher. So for instance here, we could take this further, and to make sure that we could use, let's say, generative fill, which would be like a generative remove on these computers here, let's just zoom in a little bit so we can move this around. And let's say that I'll use the polygon tool. And I want to use the polygon tool to just select this area. And let's see if it'll remove it. But the idea here is that once I have an area selected, what I can do to see if this will be okay is I can go over here to the Info panel. If you don't see this, select it from your window menu, and you can see that the width and height here are within that 2K range. So in here then, I can go to Generative Fill by going to Edit and then to Generative Fill and decide what I want to do here. Now the one thing that's new here you'll notice is that there's this little button down here, and right now it's showing me that I've selected Firefly Image 3 as my model, but you'll see that there are other cases down here we could use. Now we're going to use this, but let's say that we decided to use Gemini 2.5, which is Nano Banana. Now, if I did something to generate something here and I just said to remove these items, when I click Generate, if you've never done this before, you'll get some complimentary tries on that. But after you do, you're going to get this little window that says that you've used your complimentary generations. Now it's time to buy that upgraded plan. And that's where we get into using premium credits. So if I wanted to use Nano Banana, the Gemini 2.5, I'd have to use 10 of those Firefly credits, the premium credits that I'd have to buy on a separate plan. Well, I don't want to do that. Let's say that I just want to go back here and use Firefly AI to do a generative fill that'll just cost me 1 credit. So all that I need to do now is go back here, and instead of having Google selected, I'll go back to Firefly Image 3. And here, I don't even have to prompt it, but I could say to remove items, and then just click Generate. And in this case, using Firefly, it will give me 3 different options to choose from, and it does a pretty good job. It's not always quite as good as Nano Banana, but once again, using Firefly, I get a 2K resolution, where if I'd use Nano Banana, I'd only get a lower resolution, 1K resolution. So you can see here it did a pretty good job. It removed that entire desk by doing that. And there's 3 variations that I could choose from. And best of all, it just used one of my generative credits that I get with my plan anyways. So now I could keep going with more layers of doing either the generative fill for doing remove or the free remove tool to clean up the rest of this image. And that's basically what I did when I get into this group of items where I did all this item removal. Similar techniques were used when I went into staging here, where I used some generative fill. Yes, Nano Banana would have helped, but I'd have to use then bigger credits. Also, I can use Apply Design to do some of the staging in here. You've seen me do this before on this channel. I also have instruction in my expert editing course on that. But once we get to this point then, this is pretty much where we've come along without having to use any premium credits. I either used tools that had no credits required, or I just used the standard generative credits that just dinged me 1 generative credit for every operation that I did that required the Firefly AI engine. So after I did this, I did some final color adjustments, very simple stuff that I show in the editing course as well, hue, saturation, and fill layers. But the next thing though is being able to add this person here. This is going to use the harmonize feature. Now this is quite interesting in that if we start with just the office worker here, what that was just a layer that you can see here is masked. If I disable that mask, we can see what it was before, and it's just a person walking in an office. What I did then is I used the object selection. What you can always do here, and especially a case like this, it's very simple, is if you just go up to select, and you say to select the subject, it usually does a pretty good job of selecting that subject. And you can see it did that here. It included even the handbag, everything else. So that's how I was able to just create a very simple mask, but once again, it looks like I just copied and pasted it in there. So instead, we use the harmonize feature to get this result, and this is how it's done. What you do is you go up to the layer menu. There's a new feature called harmonize. Once you click that, it's going to start. You have no choice. It's not going to confirm, not going to prompt. It's just going to start. But the nice thing is that using the generative AI features, it's going to give me 3 options. So once it's done, it created a new layer that is masked. So you can see if I just turn that off or on, you can see it created this new layer with things that it felt it needed to blend in. And it did a pretty good job. And once again, I've got 3 different alternatives, 3 different things that I can select here. Now, this did cost me a little bit more since Harmonize does cost 5 generative credits. But those are your standard credits, not your premium ones. So this is even less expensive than using premium credits that I'd use for Nano Banana. And the resolution is actually pretty good with using Harmonize. So I see this as a feature that would be very useful for the type of work that I do, and anything else that you have to do virtual staging where you just can't get necessarily the items out of, let's say, Apply Design or similar software, or even using generative fill inside of Photoshop. If you've got images of other things you want to put into your work, you can simply use this harmonize feature and get it to blend very well. And that's where also some costs will come in. And I'm going to talk about that later in the video when I talk about how to leverage this for your work. The next feature that I want to show that's new that they have in here is called the upscale feature. So there's a couple ways that you can do this. You can use standard credits or premium credits. You can use 5 to 10 of your standard credits if we use the Firefly engine. If you want to use Topaz, it's going to cost 10 to 35 premium credits. Well, let's take a look at how this is done and if it's worth it. To use this feature either way, you would go up to the image menu and select this new feature, Generative Upscale. And it's here where you can select your model, whether it's going to be the Firefly Upscaler, Topaz Gigapixel, or Topaz Bloom. And these are the expensive ones. Once again, we can keep the generative credit costs low and also use standard generative credits by using this Firefly Upscaler. Then you can select what size you want to use, because based on size, this will vary, and there is some information here that's on Adobe's site that makes it a little confusing, but if we use that Firefly standard feature, then it's 5 credits if we're between 1 to 9 megapixels, but it's 10 credits if the files are between 25 and 56 megapixels. And you can see that's why it also varies here on the megapixel count if you're using Topaz inside of here, inside of Photoshop with this feature, anywhere from 10 to 35 credits. So let's say though that we wanted to increase this up to 2x. And if I did and I clicked upscale on here, it would generate an entirely new image, but this image is now twice the size. Now, is it worth it? Did it really do a good job? Well, let's zoom in, for instance, here at 100% on our gal that we dropped in here. Now, they give you 2 layers here so you can see what it would look like before and after. And the before, which we can see here, is what it would look like if all you did was resize the image. For instance, you can take any image. If I go back here to our original one here, and I went up to image, and I went up to image size, then I can use a feature called Preserve Details 2.0, which is really good at enlarging photos. You don't need to use AI. This is completely free. If you do this and you change the size, you're probably going to get a really good result. And that's kind of what's shown here with this original. What the Firefly Upscaler did, though, you can see it definitely sharpened her up, but it did change a few things because this isn't just sharpening, this is using AI to kind of fill in some of the missing pixels that could be jagged or they're a little bit blurry. We can see up here, though, going to the ceiling, to the structure up here, you can see it kept it really sharp. This is before and this is after, but quite honestly, I don't think this really would serve much purpose for me and my work. If I'm already sharp to begin with, then I'm going to be able to upscale this pretty well. And once again, I can just go over here to this feature of using any image, and I can say to go to image and then image size. and then increase that. And let's increase this to 6,000, which will be 2x, just like we did with this other feature. I'll click OK, and zooming in 100%, that's not actually that bad. We can take a look at some of the other features here. These turned out to be pretty sharp. If I go over here to what I got dinged 10 credits for, or 5 to 10 credits, using the standard Firefly upscaler, I don't think it's really any better. Once again, this is using Firefly, and this then was using just the standard image size. Doesn't cost you anything, doesn't even use AI. So looking at the two back to back, there's very little difference. I don't think this would actually be worth it to pay for. But while upscale isn't necessarily something that I would recommend spending your money on, Harmonize definitely is, and so are these other features. Which leads us to something bigger. All of these AI changes are just the tip of the iceberg. Bigger opportunities are at the root of this for real estate photographers, not just from the recent AI tools, but also a new partnership Adobe recently made with Google. This is why we're seeing Nano Banana in Photoshop now, but this is just the start. This integration is much more widespread, tying the core of Adobe's AI, known as Firefly Foundry, into the core of Google's AI, known as the Vertex AI platform. These are extremely powerful AI technologies that are being developed by two of the biggest players in the industry. This is why it's important to realize that only 10% of this AI iceberg is what we're seeing now, but 90% of it is in the infrastructure and opportunities it represents. In addition to this Google partnership, Adobe also announced it is partnering with YouTube. For now, this will be for creating shorts, but being the tip of that iceberg, more changes are inevitable down the road. These partnerships, especially with what we're seeing now between Adobe and Google, are opening doors of opportunities for photographers, especially those who embrace editing. Yet some of these new AI features cost more, but being able to provide better services can equate to higher revenue. Offering premium services means spending premium credits, but that also can bring premium revenue. By using the right tools, the extra credits are investments for a higher return, gaining more clients by showing you're an industry expert for your region, and you can charge more for your work accordingly.